What's happening, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Fuck off's coming home. Yeah, yesterday was Tuesday. I don't know why I'm looking over there. Yesterday was Tuesday, right? I had a few things to do. My daughter's birthday's coming up. I had to go and sort a few things out for a party and that. And I thought, you know what? Just try and stay off YouTube today, Richard. And I didn't. I think it's time that we all accepted that we're very much addicted to all this absolute fucking nonsense now. To the point that it's taken over our lives. And that's just us twats watching it. Never mind the people involved. As I said, I thought, right, I'll give it a miss today. I thought, yeah, I better have a quick check. Noticed that Rackpull was his final live. I thought, oh God, I like Rackpull. I thought I'd better go over, you know. It's like going to someone's funeral, and it, go to their final live. So I thought I'd better pop over. And then he was having some sort of ruck with Flying Monk. Again. And there's this theme developing between those two and of like alcohol versus weed, which is quite bizarre. I remember being in Rehab, and every Friday we used to do what they call it. I can't remember what it's called. But we'd do something that would be fun, yeah. And I think the point of it was to show us that life can be fun without drugs. We did a treasure hunt one day. I was in Rehab at Bury St Edmunds, right, which is a quiet little market town in Suffolk. Beautiful place. But when you plonk a drug rehabilitation centre in the middle of it, we got about 20 to 25 residents, shall we say, or clients, patients, tend to stand out a bit in the town, you know. You're getting people like fucking on the Thursday, they're eating out of bins and sucking cock for 10 bags of smack, and then 3 days later, they've moved out of the ghetto and they're living in a sleepy market town in Suffolk, withdrawing from 20-year heroin habits. So yeah, stand out a bit when you got 25 such characters doing a treasure hunt. And we went go-karting once, and there was a point to this story. Oh yeah, and there was one time we went to this place called Abbey Gardens. There's a cathedral there. Bury St Edmunds Cathedral, beautiful, beautiful place. And on one of our Friday afternoon, let's have some fun jaunts. We all went to this Abbey Gardens, like this big park, really. We had like a picnic or whatever. And we were going to do like all self-respecting adults do when they're withdrawn from heroin. We decided that, well, we didn't decide, fuck all, but it was decided that we were going to have a game of rounders. And you know, we realised the easiest way to split the two teams up would be crackheads against smackheads. And, you know, obviously there was some players qualified for both sides. So I think the ones who had been capped for Crackville and Smackville ended up playing for Smackville. And then the drinkers went in with the crackheads. So yeah, so it was basically crackheads and pissheads. Or what they call them. Handbag robbers and fucking bedwetters against fucking bin dippers. Yeah, and what I did notice in Rehab, and I've noticed ever since really, there's also this sort of cultural divide between heroin addicts, or as they're referred to more politely as smackheads or smack rats. There's a cultural divide between them and coke heads. Now, the cokeheads see themselves as a far higher class of citizen, you know. They just tend to snort 7% pure cocaine off toilet seats and talk absolute shit about themselves to other people who are also talking absolute shit about themselves. And yeah, they're obviously the higher class of person in this equation. And then obviously then you got your smackheads. So yeah, I was seeing that with Rackpull and Monk. Now, I'm very much qualified to speak about this because you could probably consider me, technically speaking, an alcoholic, and you could also consider me somebody who's in the past who's had a massive problem with weed. Now, what I've had to do in order to become abstinent from all drugs is to realise that there's a difference between myself and people who can use drugs in a way that they can benefit from and enjoy. I used to love doing drugs, made my life better. Then I got to a situation where I had to do them, whether I wanted to or not. And then finally they made my life worse. And then they made my life practically impossible to be in. So then I stopped. Started again several times and stopped again, but that's a story for a different day. But yeah, as somebody who has had issues with alcohol and issues with weed, I'm qualified to speak about this. Now, if you can drink like a gentleman, as they say, then crack on and enjoy it, because, you know, getting pissed can be quite a laugh. If you could smoke weed, you know, like a gentleman, crack on, because there's, you know, it's a lovely feeling being stoned, innit? But if you can't drink like a gentleman and you can't smoke weed like a gentleman, then you're in no position to fucking judge anybody else, to be honest with you. There's a lot of talk in it on these YouTube channels. It's all about mental health, you know. There's half the time it's we gotta look out for each other's mental health, and then the other half the time is people just trying to fucking destroy each other. Now, I'll let some of the weed smokers who can't smoke like gentlemen into a little secret that they don't appear to be seeing. Some of you are losing the fucking plot. At least with alcohol, you fucking know you're a fucking cunt. Do you know what I mean? If you're an alcoholic, even though you're in denial, yeah, and you won't admit it out loud to other people, you know yourself you're a cunt. Do you know what I mean? You do. When I never really smoked a lot of weed when I was younger. It was more sort of solid stuff going around in the olden days, like fucking Red Seal and stuff like that. And there wasn't a lot of weed about, you know, when I was sort of in my 20s. Not like there is today anyway. And then when I got to, I think it was in about my 40s at one point, where I'd stopped doing everything for a few years, come to the conclusion I can't handle doing no drugs at all, because that's just like tripping. I didn't fancy tripping 24/7, so I thought, I know what I'll do, I'll just smoke weed. I won't drink. I won't get involved in any of the other stuff. I'll just smoke weed. And because I'm not very good, you know, I can't do these things like a gentleman, I'd find myself sort of smoking 30 quid's worth of weed a day. And as long as I had a spliff in my hand at all times, you know, and 30 quid's worth of weed, you know, 10, 15 years ago in this town, you know, it's not like today where people are rolling 50 quid fucking joints. But, you know, 30 quid's worth, 35, whatever, that would give me like 10, 15 joints through the day, maybe 10. But as long as I had permanently had a fucking spliff in my hand, I'd be fine. As soon as I run out, I'd be fucking, my head would be gone. Do you know what I mean? Especially if I was struggling to get hold of any, you know. or I had to wait for a while or whatever. And what I would find, and I see examples of it on the podcast wars with some of the weed heads, I wouldn't even know what mood I was in. You know, I'd think I was in a perfectly reasonable mood. I think I mentioned this actually on a previous video, get a bit of deja vu, yeah. But I'd think I was in a perfectly reasonable mood, and then I'd find myself just fucking exploding out of nowhere. And I've seen that happening a lot. So, yeah, this... And another thing that's bugging me as well, being a sort of more mature member of the YouTube arena. Oh, what did real Danny G was on earlier, and I commented on his live, and he said, because we sort of spoke to each other on his live before, whatever, and he commented on one of my videos once, and I put a comment on his live earlier, and he said, fuck off's coming home, and he's like, oh, you know, you could tell, I could remember the name. He said, oh yeah, you're that polite elderly Welshman, or something like that. It was like, oh, yeah, cheers Dan, I'm now elderly. But yeah, what bugs me, being like, you know, far too old for this nonsense, is when you get blokes who are in their fucking 30s, like 30, 35-year-olds, like somebody was doing it at Rackpull earlier. It's like, oh, you're a fucking 40-odd-year-old bloke, or 50 or whatever he is. Fucking, you shouldn't be on here doing this. And the person telling this is somebody who's 36. Do you know what I mean? Fuck, you know. I think anybody over the age of about 14 making videos like me now, or watching them, or watching all these other fucking idiots, I think we all need to take a good long look at ourselves, you know. It's not like, oh look, you know, I'm only 37, this is perfectly acceptable now. Wouldn't do this nonsense when I was 42. So it's like, yeah, if you're over 18 and then you're fucking involved in this bullshit, then fucking, you can't be judging anybody else's age. Because it's an addiction, it's all an addiction, this is. Going back to my original point of what I'm going to watch yesterday, and then I did. And it was fucking all happening. It was only supposed to be a Tuesday, wasn't it? So Rackpull was on, he was doing his last ever live, and then he was having big racks all over the place. Oh, at one point, that's when I first started watching, he was going out to have a fight. Some bloke apparently 4 doors down. Saying Rackpull, get out here now. Rackpull then was out looking for him. So he must have been live on his laptop, and then he took his phone out to be live at the fight. So there was 2 screens open, and it was Rackpull's house, and then Rackpull out down the bloody football, or the tennis courts, wherever. It can't be tennis courts in Hackney, can it? But yeah, the football pitch, or wherever he was. So yeah, so I thought that I better watch this now, just in case fucking Rackpull ends up rocking with a couple of bloody mandem. But nothing came of that, funnily enough. What else? There was fucking loads went on. Loads of fucking nonsense. Ashstring was on, weirdly enough. They were talking about Ashstring's table. Now, I said this to Fighting Trolls, well not to him, but I said it in a video which he saw. Somebody sent him a clip of something I'd said on here, and he was on his channel going brr, 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 brr. But I said, which I was right again, he started banging on about this fight too early. I remember when they first started talking about it, it was like 13 weeks to the fight, and he was going to go into his camp, wasn't he? Oh, I'm going into camp now. I thought, what, for 13 weeks? It's fucking longer than any professional fucking boxer I know of. 13-week camp, but it's turned out the first 8 weeks of his camp weren't really camp. It was more of a picnic type thing. So apparently he's going into camp today now, tomorrow, he said yesterday. So it'll probably be actually tomorrow based on today. But yeah, I said, oh, he started talking about it too early, man, fuck. And it's proved to be true because they've been banging on about it for too long, and it's still like 4 weeks to the fight. I said it, I think I said in the previous video, I used to put on comedy nights, right? I used to promote comedy nights. And I'd arrange the comedians, and I'd have it all arranged. I get a venue, I get the comedians booked. They'd be like, right, 6 weeks, I'm putting on this comedy night. As soon as I had the comedians booked in the venue, I would start promoting it, trying to sell tickets, telling everybody about it, fucking messaging people, blah, blah. And I'd do that for about 2 weeks, like a man possessed, trying to sell tickets. And I'd have loads of people going, yeah, I'll come. Yeah, I'm not going to buy tickets yet, because it's not for 6 weeks. Yeah, I'll come. And I'd do that, and then it'd get to about a couple of weeks away from the gig, and I'd have just pissed myself off so much, just banging on and on about it. I stopped mentioning it, and that was the time where I should have been upping my marketing. So yeah, I did warn those lads against that, diving in too early, but nobody listens to me on here. That 3D thing, it seems like it's fucking jinxed, doesn't it? I saw yesterday, late last night, actually. That motorsports guy come on, he was like, nothing to do with Bobby anymore. And obviously this was like 2 o'clock in the morning, so rather than go to sleep, I thought, right, well, I better find out what that's all about. Not that it's any of my business or remotely interesting, really, or important in any shape or form. I thought, yeah, well, I can't go to sleep until I find out what this is all about. And he'd mentioned a video, so then I had to watch Gary Tells Carol's video, which sort of pieced it together. It seemed like it was a bit of a breakaway of the Dundee lads from the Scottish camp. And, Gary and Bobby were going solo. The Dundee, what's his name now? The Dundee... Bobby's got a new name, and he's the Dundee something. The Dundee Mercenary. Yeah, that's his fighting name. And then I saw this morning, then Danny Christie was like, made a video, and he's like, don't really go into the ins and outs of it, but fucking, I'm not going to be in Bobby's corner, because he's pissed me off a bit. And it's like, alright. And fighting trolls, the bloke he's fighting apparently is, he's got COVID. So they're unsure if he's going to be able to shake that off in 4 weeks. Yeah, and there's about 2 hours a day over the last 3 weeks. It's been dedicated to Ash String's table at the fight. Unbelievable, really. So I think there's going to be some big changes. I don't know, but I reckon ticket sales are probably very low. Trolls' purse seems to have gone down from, well, when Lazar said he was getting 15 bags, fucking Trolls tried making out he was getting similar. I think he admitted last night that there's a $3 purse, 2 for the winner, 1 for the loser, and his pay-per-view money. So, I think he's about lost interest now, to be honest. I think Trolls is bored of it now. He's got a low attention span, and I think he just liked saying that he was a fighting man. I don't think the actual fighting bit is up his street. So he doesn't even know his opponent's going to be now. It was going to be Leighton, then it was going to be Dalmold, or whatever his name is, and it's probably going to be somebody else. I think there's going to be a big shake-up. They're going to have to shake it all up closer to the event, drum up some interest to get some ticket sales going, because I think they probably haven't sold as many as they were hoping. Got nothing factual to base that on, but from what I can gather. I saw some guy say in the comments yesterday, he said, I'm going to buy my pay-per-view about 5 minutes for the first fight. And I thought, yeah, I know what you mean, man. I won't be going in too early. Yeah, so I think they're going to have to shake it up. There's going to be some fucking big changes over the next few weeks. Something mad will happen. Like Ash String will be brought in to fight Trolls. And maybe Lazar will be brought back in the picture to fight Titchy. They'll pull off they need a couple of big YouTube fights tonight, So I think they're probably already planning that. I think they're going to have to get 2 big YouTube fights. Trolls against another YouTuber, and Ash String would be the man. Because I think he's booked 11 people on his table, so if he fights, that will solve that problem. And Lazar Titchy, get that one back on. don't know if Lazar be interested now, probably not. Now he's pulling in 20, 30,000 fucking viewers a night. Or views anyway, a day. Decca's back. Fuck, his positive spell's over. Now he wants to fight the world. Had a quick look at his viewing figures. And the more positive he is, the lower his views are. So the less money he makes. So he's like, right, fuck this. Right, Darren G, I want to fight on the 27th. I'm going to have a ruck with the Taxman. And anybody else, I'm going to start charging for my documentaries. Oh, no, I'm not, because nobody wants to pay. So he's just doing my fucking nutting, to be honest with you. I actually unfollowed him on YouTube. I unfollowed him on Facebook a few weeks ago, and I had to make some sort of stand. I unsubscribed on YouTube yesterday because he was just making one of these fucking videos which you know are purely for him to rack up some views, you know, and then hence some cash. And I thought, I can't be bothered with this. And yeah, the new golden boy on the scene, what's his name? Bollocks. No, not Response. You know that guy from fucking, is it Peckham, Lewisham, Brixton? That guy from South London, Titchy, yeah? Real Response TV, is it something like that? Well, he was been making all these videos and he's saying he's going to free all the man them, fucking, he's going to take his borough out of poverty, he's going to sort out the youngers, etc, etc. You aren't going to be like the rest of the YouTubers, blah blah blah. And I noticed he was doing a live last night, put it on, he's absolutely smashed. With Ballygirl, Emma Ballygirl, he's just playing music and dancing, loosely, I describe it as. And then later on then, he just, Brummy Adam turned up in the chat and you could see he'd come in late and he was like, what the fuck's going on here? And I don't know how it started, but basically, Titchy is it? Titchy Sliders was pulling out his condiments out of the cupboard and said to Ballygirl, come. And she was just passing them on. He was like, look, I got mint sauce. I got cranberry. I got tomato sauce. And he was like, hey babe, give me the salt and pepper. And he was like, give me the milk. He poured a glass of milk and he was like showing off. It's like, look at all the stuff I got. He poured a glass of milk. And then he asked if I wanted these, you know, those straws. You get these little, I used to buy them for my daughter when she grew out of them when she was about 6. They're like straws and they've got little fucking balls in them of like strawberry milk powder. And you just suck the milk up with a straw, and in the process of the milk going up the straw, it turns into strawberry milk or whatever flavour you got. And he was like, you know, showing the viewers, he was bawling, yeah? Because he's got like fucking milky straws on a Tuesday, salt and pepper. I think he got his butter out. You know, in fairness to the lad, he did have an excellent selection of condiments. And then somebody in the chat said, you know, people were just asking him to, you know, prove how well he was living. And somebody said, show some cash. And he turned to his missus, he's like, babe, give us 20 quid. So he was showing that he had 20 quid. Big up yourself, man. And then, and not only that, she also had a tenner and a fiver. So he had 35. And then he burnt the fiver. He burnt the fiver as if to say, so we're living out here. And then in the comments, and everybody's like, oh, burn the 20. And he had a 20. And they were like, go on then, burn the 20. And he was like, money's not important. And he threw the 20. up in the air, which obviously would have landed on the floor, and he would have picked it up as soon as the live finished. But yeah, he was live till about 2-3 in the morning, and he's probably going to regret that, one would have thought. So yeah, that was all happening. Oh, and another, yesterday as well, about fucking 10 o'clock. That was 9, yeah. I was watching the football scores come in, just to make sure my bet fucked up again. Thank you, Bristol Rovers, for not managing a third goal, even though you were 2-0 up after 48 minutes and you missed a penalty. But yeah, Ronan, Island Boy, or as Johnny Bum Bum called him, Terry Wogan, Joe Rogan, which was one of the funniest things I've heard for a while. He was on, having like quite a normal chat with some people about stuff. Woodsman's name got mentioned. Next thing, Woodsman's in the chat. Have you seen when people do that when they demand the link? It was an old juice bomb technique. Link. Post link. 2 comments later. Post link now. A fucking Island Boy, fucking Terry Wogan, Joe Rogan, he said, maybe I'll have you on at a different time, Johnny, we'll speak together. And I got the ball rolling. I was in the comments then saying, come on, Ronan, you got to give him the right to reply. And then he was like, all right, we will get him on. Got him on. After a lot of toing and froing with some echo issues, they started having a bit of a bloody set too. The masked detective who was there was telling Johnny to grow up. So a bloke who calls himself the Masked Detective on YouTube, who sits there in a mask, probably not a detective, to be honest with you. Be very surprised if he was a qualified detective. But he was telling Johnny Bum Bum to grow up, which is fair enough. John was freaking out a bit, or Johnny, should I say, and he freaked out so much he fucking hit his laptop. But due to the nature of these delays, etc., what we saw was him going like that. He got to about by that, and it froze. So it was obviously because he's in Thailand, it takes about 1.2 seconds for the Thai authorities to see what Johnny said, approve it, and send it to Ronan. So he froze like that, and then he was just on screen. In reality, he went bang, hit his fucking laptop and fucking busted. If you have a look on the Northern Kings channel, Johnny Bum Bum did manage to borrow a phone off the hotel receptionist. He said he's been with his wife for 17 years, and they're still living in a hotel. That's not weird. Unless she's kicked him out. So perhaps only he is living in a hotel. But yeah, he managed to borrow a phone off the hotel receptionist, put a video up on some other channel. He said he hasn't got any fake accounts, but he put it up on not his account. And the Northern King managed to access that video, and he's got it on his channel. Johnny was not happy. Oh. So I think there's going to be a bit of trouble with Johnny Bum Bum and Island Boy, Ronan, Terry Wogan, Joe Rogan. So yeah, look forward to that. So yeah, just fucking basic mayhem really, innit? Basic fucking mayhem. What else is happening? I haven't seen much of Kay. The fucking Valentine's Day Massacre didn't go on with him and the real Danny G. I'd like those two to make peace, actually. I quite like both of them. And in a different environment, they'd probably get on, I think, so it makes all this YouTube thing mental, innit? I'll tell you what would be good. I've had this idea for a while. Like a Big Brother house but with all these YouTubers in. And you couldn't have like a normal Big Brother house where they're all in the same room. You'd have to have like perspex sort of tunnels, interwoven perspex tunnels, so they could all sort of see each other and talk to each other, but they couldn't actually get to each other. So they'd all have their own bedrooms, and then there would be like a warren of tunnels coming out of each bedroom, interwoven around the house and into the garden area. So each inmate, each resident client of this YouTube Big Brother house would have their own room with an adjoining sort of tunnel which would weave them around the house back to their room, and everybody would have one, and they'd all crisscross over and up and down. So there'd be little places people could hang about and gossip. And yeah, like Big Brother, and they all go in there, and then once a week we vote some fucker out. So that'd be a good idea. I did actually tweet what's his name now? Louis Theroux, a couple of months ago. Month ago or something. I said, you want to make a fucking, stop swearing, Rich. You want to make a documentary about these ongoing YouTube wars? It's quite interesting. And do you know what he said to me? Fuck all, because he never replied. So his loss is our gain, is it not? Yeah, but YouTube Big Brother house, that'd be good, isn't it? Maybe we could get Dean and Dougie to arrange it. All the best, Hairy Chest.